Any questions with this? Hmm. Hmm. Then the way you have to filter it should be different. The way you're filtering it should be different. So for example, if you want to upload all those things out here, I'll say or dollar underscore dot name is like dot mp3 or mp4. Getting it? It just depends upon how do you filter it out. It just depends upon how you're filtering it out, where you're filtering it out, where you're filtering it out, and all these things out here. Correct. This or that, meaning both, combination of both of them. This or that or anything else. So all the JPG files will come into picture, all the MP4 files will come into picture, and all these things out here. All the MP3 and all the MP4, all those things will, let's say, come into picture. This one. See, the problem is I don't have any problem sharing the file. The problem is that people are not writing their command. Let's say if I share the file out there, just taking this and let's say copying and pasting it out. It won't help you out. It won't at all help you out. But yes, I will go ahead give it out again. When there is a confusion, please let me know what is the confusion so that I can address it right away. I can address the same thing right away out here. So, but I'll do one thing. I'll just upload the file out here. I'll just give this out. I'll say new file. Let's do this. I'll say this is container creation from JSON or PS1. Copy the content out here. Let's I'll just paste this out and let me upload that JSON file as well so that you'll have an understanding of this. I'll say this is ATM JSON file or JSON. I'll take the contents of the JSON file and paste it out here. So I can give this one. I can give this link out here. Yes, this is the link. Let's see. Yeah, this is the link. Let me refresh this out. Yes, this is good. Let me give this out. Please take this link out here. Sorry, why are we using dollar item instead of dollar value? And why are we using dollar file instead of dollar value out here? Now the problem here is that what happened is initially I came around with dollar name, but dollar name is already taken. It's already a variable out here that is inside of for each loop. That's the reason I changed this out to a different dollar item and dollar files name out here. And then I'm using this particular dollar item dot the file name as such and giving, let's say, all this path out here. So the only reason that I'm doing, the only reason that I'm, let's say, tending to do that is because I already have a dollar name which is representing my container, which is, let's say, representing my container out here. So if you look at this, I'm saying dollar name is value storage account and etc. And when I'm creating a container out here, I'm saying new hyphen AZ storage account hyphen name and dollar name as such. The dollar name here is representing the container. And after I'm doing an if else out here, I'm changing the file path. I'm saying, okay, fine, file name is all these things out. And then I'm saying for each item in that particular file name, please do a dollar file and upload it into that particular container out here. So whichever container that you have, I'm just going ahead and uploading all these particular files into that particular container as such. And then I'm exiting the main for each loop. So this for each loop does not only the container creation, but it also takes out or it also goes ahead and uploads that particular files inside this particular container out here. So this script, when you execute it, will work, should work. Let me know if it doesn't. Let me know what are the errors that you get out there.
Sir,
Uh, Good, please.
can't we pass the file path in the JSON file itself?
Yes, you can pass the file path in JSON also. So if you want to pass the file path in JSON, just say file path. And for example, in my case, I have a file path called, let's say, something like D, something like this, right? Now, you cannot pass it literally. The value cannot be passed literally. You have to encapsulate this in double quotes. So if you, let's say, have another path, let's say something like example, you have to say example out here. This is how you need to pass the file path when you are creating inside a JSON file out here, when you're doing a JSON out here. So if I do
Okay.
this one, good enough. See, now if you want to read this out, then you should be saying something like, in your PowerShell script, you should add one more line here telling that write host file path is something like this, is $value dot file path. This is what you need to get if you're doing a JSON. If you're, let's say, trying to get those objects out there, you need to do a $value dot file path as such to get that particular file path in there. Yes, any more questions here? Any more questions here with this one? Sorry, we can, right? If you, yes, you can filter it out. Yes. Yes, any questions? Any more questions here? Any more questions here? Any more questions with this particular script? Am I good with this? Are we good with this, or do you all want me to execute this as well?
Yeah, we good.
Or okay, okay, are we all on the same page? Anyone? Any questions there? See, I'm completely okay to, let's say, spare a complete session and take complete questions and get it clarified. Not a problem. But the intention out here is that no one should miss. Everyone should be on the same page out here. At least try to be on the same page so that you can practice it and then later come down with doubts and all these things out. Again, guys, see, when you're asking a question on the email, please try to draft a proper email out there. See, there is a subject, there's a body. In the subject, please mention your class name, please mention your name, and in the body, please tell me what is your issue, what did you, let's say, try to resolve that issue. And if there are files, please send me those files across so that I can go ahead and look at those things out here. Try to consolidate everything in one single email so that it'll be easy for me to, let's say, read it out and, let's say, reply back to you all and all these things out there. Yes, any questions? Any more questions here? Sure. Hmm. Hmm. If you do not create a container, the file path how to upload? No, you cannot do that, sir. You cannot do that if you do not create a container. Right, I have given a file path. This is the file path where the blobs are there, right? If you do not have a container, then how would you upload that particular blobs? When I said file path, instead of giving the file path here, the question was that can I give the same file path in JSON? Can I just declare this particular path in JSON? I declared the path in JSON, that's it. So that I can go inside the path, get all my blobs and upload it out here again. Yes. Any more questions here? Anyone? Any more questions here that I can take? Okay, so then the next question from my end is that how comfortable are we with ARM templates? Did we try ARM? Did we give it at least one shot out there? How comfortable are we with that? Anyone who has issues with, let's say, writing the template, anyone who's not following the template, let me know. I'll re-explain it, not a problem. Anyone who's not following it out there? Anyone? Any questions there with the ARM template as such?
Hi Kiran.
Go ahead, please.
Actually, we want to create 10 storage accounts. In that 10 storage accounts, we have to upload every time, upload the file, or only once we can.
You can try. I mean, you don't have to really upload every time. But what you can do is that before you upload, you can try doing a get hyphen az blob content. You can say a get hyphen az blob content, and if the content exists, then you can do an if else out here. You can do an if loop telling that the content yes exists, so I won't upload it. If it's not there, then you can upload this out there. But again, if you even give this command, just to upload it without checking it, even that is good enough, not a problem. It'll just go ahead overwrite all your files out there, and it'll, let's say, upload it in a new way out there, etc. So if you are doing an if else, good enough. If you're not doing an if else, even I'm okay with that. So I'm, let's say, not doing an if else in this particular script. If you want to add an if else statement out there, you can go ahead add that particular if else condition to check whether that particular data already exists in the container. If it's not, then you can go ahead and re-upload it out there.
in ARM.
No, not in ARM. I'm talking about PowerShell. This is what you're talking about, isn't it?
Actually, I have tried in ARM. Actually, we want to create 10 storage accounts. In
Okay.
that created, while creating that 10 storage accounts, we have to
Mhm.
upload 10 times file, upload the file in
Again,
that.
when you're talking about ARM, you cannot upload a
Yeah.
blob using an ARM template. You cannot do a blob upload using an ARM template out there. ARM templates is used to provision infrastructure, as I said
Sir, he
earlier.
is not asking about blobs. He is
Hmm.
asking about storage accounts.
Yeah, I
No,
am
when you're
asking
telling,
storage accounts.
see, you're asking about two things out here. Okay, there are two things out here that you asked. First, you asked 10 storage accounts, and then you asked something called
Yeah.
upload out here. When you say upload, what do you mean by upload then?
ARM,
Actually, we
like
have
ARM,
created ARM file.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Deploy the file. So we have to 10 times upload that, deploy
Oh,
that
you're
file, or
telling, okay, fine.
only one thing.
Okay, okay. So
Yeah.
you're telling, okay, fine, I get it. So the question here is that, okay, the question here is that, do I, let's say, if I have to create 10 containers or 10 storage accounts out here, do I have to take the same file, upload it 10 times out here, and then create it out? Yes. It's reusable or not? Yes, you can do that. You can take it 10 times, upload it 10 times out there, give different names out there, and you can have 10 different storage accounts created. But is that the right way? No, not definitely not the right way. We'll talk about the right way out there. But my question again back to you all is that, before I go ahead, give you 10 different storage accounts out there, tell me, are we comfortable creating one storage account? Are we comfortable there? If we are comfortable there, let's look at the syntax once again. Let me do one thing. Let me use the same folder. Let me say ARM template out here. So this is how I started. ARM template as such, ARM hyphen, and then go inside this one and say ARM, and it will take some time to load this out. Now, when you initially load the template, it will take, let's say, around a minute or so to load this out. So the first question is that, are we comfortable? And second question is that, yesterday we have covered a concept called concatenation. Did we follow that? Did you all try that out? Concat, is it working for you all? If that is good enough, then I can move forward to take on those questions, telling how do you create 10 different resources? How do you, let's say, make a copy of 10 different resources out here? And yes, that is definitely covered. That's something that I have to cover about resource iteration. How do you, let's say, go and create multiple resources out there? But before I do that, let's understand the basic syntax of it so that we can develop on top of it and understand what exactly we need to create and all these things out here. Firstly, to just answer to someone's question, since it's taking times to kind of load this out, can you, let's say, upload? So the question here is that, can you take a same template, upload it out 10 times? Can I create 10 different storage accounts? Yes, it is reusable. You can take the same template, and the reason it is reusable is because we are parameterizing a lot of things out there. And since we are parameterizing a lot of things, you can just take the same template, upload it out, give your file name or give your storage account name, and it will create this out. Like, it will go ahead create things out here for you. So let me do that. Let me say ARM hyphen, and we said storage. Add a storage account out here. Now all the values are hard coded. I want to change the way it is. So what I can do is, I can now start declaring my parameters. And how do I declare it? Is, once I go inside this, I'll say control plus space, new parameter, storage account name, my first parameter out here. I will say location, the second parameter out here, put a comma, and I'll say new parameter, say SKU, name, and these are pretty much, let's say, the parameters that I need to pass. Again, there are two things that I was actually talking about. There is something called as a default value. There is something called as an allowed value out here. So what I'll do is that in the location, I'll pass a, let's say, an allowed value, telling that if someone is using this template, they are only allowed to create in East US to North Europe or Central US. Three different locations out there. Again, see how did I pass this out is very important because this is where we miss on syntaxes. Control space, allowed values, colon, an array. Allowed value is always an array out here. Array, and after the array, there should be a comma. Since it's a JSON file, there should be a comma out here. So now I'll say it is East US2, comma, Central US, comma, North Europe. And here in the SKU name also, I want to, let's say, pass an allowed value. So I will say something like standard LRS. And again, if I don't pass a comma out here and do a couple of things, this is the error that I get. Comma standard GRS. Let's say I give two different values out here. Now, instead of directly passing the name of my storage account, I'll remove this out and I'll now call a function. And how do I call a function here, guys? Square brackets. And what function that I need to call here? Concat. But here it's a simple, let's say, parameter. So it's, I'm not concatenating it, I'm directly passing the name of it. So it's a parameter storage account name out here. So I'll say parameters storage account name. Scrolling down, instead of, let's say, calling the resource group dot location out here, I'll just remove this out. I'll say brackets parameters location, and in here I would say parameters, and I would call a parameter called what, SKU name, and in here I'll just remove this out and I'll say this is standard. This is now my template. This is now my template, the bare basic template out here that I was creating. And if I save this out, and if I now say that, let's say, go back into that particular ARM template class, I'll say storages dot JSON. It's a JSON file that I need to save this as. And once this is saved, I can go back into my Azure portal. And now today I do not have again even a resource group out here. I'll say deploy a custom template. And once I'm into deploy a custom template out here, I'll say build your own template. Now let me wait for this one to load. I'll say build your own template, load the file, and take that file basically that I had. Save this out. Now to answer to someone's question, this is now a vanilla template. What do you mean by vanilla template is that this term comes from a vanilla ice cream. You can put anything on a vanilla ice cream and eat it out. This is now a vanilla template, meaning you can take this template, give whatever name that you want, and the storage account with that particular property gets created. Meaning, to answer to your question is that, do I need to upload 10 different times? No. I'll also tell you why you don't need to upload 10 times. But can I upload it 10 different times? Yes. You can upload it 10 different times to create 10 different storage accounts here. So this is pretty much reusable. It's SaaS group exists or not. And once it is done, let's see this. Let's say this is again demo RG. I'll say okay. And I will now say the name of the storage account is something like demo ARM storage ABC000. And here the location now is an allowed value, which is East US to Central US and etc. I can select the location and then I can select the SKU, and then I can review and create this out here. So you give this template to anyone, without doing anything, they can just go here into their Azure portal, take this template out, give the name, give the SKU, give the location, and have all these resources created. So the template is again going to ask you what is the name of the storage account, what, let's say, the SKU and etc. It is, and create resources as such. So this is now reusability out here. To extend to this is where I will extend this session. This is where, let's say, I will go ahead and extend this template to include something called as iterations. Meaning, how do I create multiple resources at using a simple template? Using a single template, how do I create multiple resources? What do I need to do to create multiple resources? If I'm able to follow that, can I also go ahead create multiple resources in multiple locations? Let's say one storage account needs to be in North Europe, one storage account needs to be in Central US, one storage account needs to be in LRS, and all these things. Can I do those iterations as well? Those are the answers that I need to give. Those are, let's say, the answers to the, I mean, those are the answers to the questions that I need to give out here. Again, that is something that I wanted to cover today, but let's clarify the doubt today. Once everyone is good with this particular basic understanding, then from tomorrow we can go into, let's say, resource iteration, understand what is resource iteration in ARM and all these things out here. Yes, but any questions still here? Again, yeah, I do
I
not have an
can.
RG. Just a second. I was taking a question offline. Just give me a second. I'll come back to you. Mhm. So when I deploy it, when I, let's say, tell that, okay, fine, deploy a custom template, let's say build your own template out here, right? Let's say save this out. It's asking me for a resource group, so I can create a new one. So yeah, there itself will create this out, or I can select an existing one out here. So ARM, using ARM templates, creation of resource group is a little tricky, so we don't go that route at all. So we directly go ahead, create it on the portal, and then deploy it into that particular resource group as such. So yes, you had a question online. I can take it now.
Yesterday you mentioned that the default value, right?
Correct.
Yeah, in the default value we given some value. Is it
Correct.
changed by next user, like it remains same in every time?
It can change when you give a default value out here, right? So for example, if I give a default value to my storage account, telling it's a default value out here, and giving a value, any value out here, telling it is demo storage ABC000, and if I re-upload the template, if I'll just edit this template, re-upload this out, I'll save this. Just scroll down, you'll be able to see the default value out here, but you are allowed to change this value. I can simply remove this out, and I can, let's say, change this value, and I can say this is ARM temp storage, and create this out, and it will still work. These are called template overrides. Again, it's telling 3 to 24 characters and all. Name is not unique, so that's the reason it's failing. But you can override whatever that you let's say that you declared in a default value out here. Default values over